Hi, welcome to part 3 of Beginner's Yoga. If you're a complete beginner and you haven't already done parts 1 and 2, I highly recommend that you go back and have a go at those first. We just go into a little bit more detail with some of the postures that we'll be doing in this practice. So for today, I've got my gravy granules at the ready, going to pop those at the top of my mat. So whatever you used for your blocks, if you used them, just have those handy near to the top of your mat and we'll get started. So come into tabletop position, placing the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees are hip width apart underneath the hips. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Just start with a neutral spine. Taking a few breaths here. See if you can find your equal parts breathing. So we're making the inhalations same length as the exhalations, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And on your next inhale, tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Allow the belly to drop down, pulling the chest forwards, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another. Cow pose. Exhale, round the tailbone down. Allow the spine to arch. Cat pose. And just 2 more with your own breath. Make sure that you keep the arms straight while you do this. It's okay to have a small bend in the elbows. You don't want to lock the joints out. Again, if it takes more than 1 breath per movement, that really doesn't matter. It can take a while to get used to the breathing. Some of us have different lung capacities, so don't worry about that too much, as long as you're taking nice, smooth, slow, steady breaths. So come back to neutral. Going to tuck the left toes and slide that leg out behind you. And just gently rocking back and forth, just stretching out the back of the leg. And come to stillness. I'm going to lift that leg up just to around hip height. Keep the toes pointing down so we're not externally rotating at the hip. Quite a lot of hard work. Engage your core muscles, and if it feels okay, you're going to extend the opposite arm out, thumb pointing upwards. So we're really challenging our core here, challenging our balance. Couple of breaths here. And bring everything back down, back to tabletop. We'll do the other side. So tucking the right toes under, sliding the foot back, and just gently stretch out through the back of the leg. Come back to stillness, lifting the leg, toes pointing down, foot is flexed. If that's enough, you can stay here. Otherwise, you're going to extend the opposite arm out in front, thumb pointing upwards. So that extended leg is going to want to sort of twist out to the side. Actively keep the toes pointing downwards. Just take 1 more breath and bring everything back down. Just sit back towards your heels. You slide the hands past you and then rounding forwards over the legs into a child's pose. Just resting for a moment. Allow the shoulders to be heavy. Nice. And then coming all the way back up into our tabletop position. I'm going to step the left foot forward in between the hands at the front, finding low lunge. We did this in week 1. So I'm just going to grab my gravy granules, give myself a little bit of space. Take a couple of breaths. Press down through the front foot, press down through the top of the back foot. I'm just going to move this one by my left foot. I don't need that for the moment. I'm going to sweep the arm forward, the left arm, circle it around. Just take a couple of circles with the arm. Just make sure that front knee is over the front ankle. Next time the hand reaches towards the ceiling, we're going to keep it there and actively twist towards that left thigh. So you don't need to twist too far, just go as far as feels comfortable. If your breathing feels a little strained, then just back off a little bit. And bring that palm back down. I'm going to shift the hips back, bring the hips so it's over that right knee, straighten the front leg and flex the foot towards the face. Just gently folding over that leg. Again, however far you fold over controls how intense this stretch is. So if you're up here, that's fine. So you want to feel a stretch, but you don't want to feel any pain or discomfort. And coming back forwards, bending into that front knee. I'm going to tuck the back toe under. I'm going to bring one hand to the thigh, the other hand to the thigh. Make sure that front foot is really ground down, you're pressing into all the toes. Press down through the foot evenly. As you're ready, see if you can pick that back knee up. You might need to adjust the stance a little bit, so you might need to step this back foot in a little bit to find your balance. You're going to bend this back leg, so just bend the knee, make sure your centre's right underneath you, because we have this tendency to lean forwards. And once you're there, bring the hands to the hips, find your balance. If you're struggling a little bit with your balance, just press that back heel down towards the ground. So this is high lunge. And if you've really not got the balance for this today, just pivot that back foot down like we did in Warrior One. Otherwise, we're going to send the arms up overhead. Take the arms as wide as you need to. And if you're struggling a bit with your balance, just find a focal point that isn't moving. It'll really help to steady you. One more breath here. Then we're going to bring the right palm down to the ground. Extend the left arm up towards the sky, twisting towards the left thigh. And again, only twisting as far as feels okay for you. Just make sure that this left thigh doesn't start to roll out. You want to keep pressing down through that front foot and actively squeezing the thigh into the midline. Nice. Bring both palms to the ground. You're going to step that left foot back to meet the right or lower the knees. So we're going to be coming into plank, so I just want to give you your options for that first. So as we just stepped back, we'd be in a nice strong plank position. You want to keep the spine nice and long, heels pressing away, really activate the backs of the legs, shoulders over the wrist, crown of the head reaching forwards, engage the belly. If you want to lower your knees, you can do that. So if you come at it from a tabletop, you just walk the knees back slightly, bring your body weight forward so that the shoulders are over the wrists. So you should really feel the abdominals working hard to stabilise here. So whichever plank option you're taking, we'll go there now. And then you're going to bend the elbows. Make sure the elbows are pointing backwards. Lower all the way down to your belly. Squeeze your elbows in towards the ribs. Just keep the hands by the ribs, elbows pointing backwards. Squeeze the elbows next to the ribs. Inhale, just roll the shoulders back, lifting the head and the chest off the ground. Do a baby cobra. Only coming up as far as feels okay for you. Should be able to lift the hands away and maintain that. So we're using all of our core strength rather than using our hands to push us up. Exhale, come back down. And then press back up to all fours, coming back into tabletop. Take the knees out wide, bring the big toes to touch, sit the heels back, find extended child's pose. Take a few breaths here. And as you're ready, make your way back to tabletop. We get to do that all on the other side. As you're ready, stepping that right foot forward in between the hands, finding your low lunge. Grab your props if you need them. Just taking a couple of breaths here to find your foundation. Pressing down into that front foot, press down through the top of the back foot. Front knee over front ankle. Lift the chest. And I'm going to take the right arm forward, circling it all the way around. If you're able to, just follow your hand with your gaze. So you're getting a slight twist in there as well. And then next time the hand reaches up towards the ceiling, stay there, twisting towards that right thigh. So remember, keep this right thigh actively drawing in towards the midline. And bring both palms back down to the ground. Shift the hips back, this left hip over the left knee, straighten the front leg, and flex the foot towards the face. Just gently folding over that leg, stretching through the back of the leg. Bend into the front knee, coming forwards again. And then you're going to tuck the back toe. Bring both hands to the thigh. See if you can pick that back knee up. Doesn't matter if you can't, you can always do this again on the knees. And just take a moment to adjust your stance as you need to. Bend that back knee and bring your centre underneath. So we're not leaning forwards. Front knee over the front ankle. Again, if you're a little bit wobbly, it'll help to just send the heel down towards the ground. As you're ready, take the arms up overhead, nice and wide if you need to. Pick something to look at that isn't moving, it really helps with your balance. Nice, and then we're going to bring the left palm down towards the ground, plant that palm, and extend the right hand up towards the ceiling. Easy twist. Twisting towards that right thigh. One more breath here. And then plant the right palm down, step the right foot back to meet the left into plank, knees lowered or lifted. And bend the elbows, lower down with control. Untuck the toes, roll the shoulders back, inhale, lift up to a baby cobra. And we should be able to take the hands away. And then exhale back down. Press all the way back onto all fours. And we're coming into puppy pose. So you're going to keep the hips stacked over the knees. Walk the hands out in front. And then lower the head and the chest towards the ground. Just draw the navel towards the spine. If the head doesn't come all the way down, you can always use a cushion. Just rest your head a little bit higher. Bring the ground up to you. Walk the palms back in, lifting up. Then we're going to come to a seat. So keep the knees bent, sit up nice and tall. Just move that fleshy part of the buttocks to one side so you're sitting right on your sit bones. Hands behind the thighs and just come up onto your toes. Rock back onto your sit bones. Keep the spine nice and long, sitting up tall, chest is lifted. So already you can probably feel the abdominals engaged and some work happening here. If that feels okay, maybe float one shin up and then the other. Maybe float both. And if that feels okay, maybe you let go. Just find what works for you. If you need to pop your feet down at any point, you can. And of course, if you want to stay just here with the toes on the ground, that's fine too. So we're just slowly building strength till one day we're here maybe. Nice. And bring the feet down. Just wrap your arms around the shins, drop the head. Just give yourself a little hug. And then we're going to make our way down to our backs. So just gently lower yourself down, keeping the knees bent. Take the feet out as wide as your mat, arms out to the sides. Just gently drop the knees to one side. Inhale, bring them back up to centre. Exhale, over to the other side. Inhale to centre. Exhale to the other side. Inhale to centre. Exhale to lower. One more each way. Keep the knees bent. I'm going to walk the feet closer to your bottom. Arms down by the side. Press the forearms and the hands into the ground. And just roll the pelvis back and start to lift the hips up. Pressing the hips up high. We try to keep the inner thighs drawing towards each other. Keeping the legs parallel. We don't want the knees splaying out to the side or coming in towards each other. Press into the heels, press into the arms. Keep the hips lifted. Into bridge pose. One more breath here. And then slowly, with control, lower the spine all the way back down to the mat. Take the legs out as long as the mat. Take them out wide, take up some space. Let the feet drop open to the sides. Arms out to the sides, palms facing up. Just closing down the eyes. Noticing how you feel. Let the breath return to its own natural rhythm. Just mentally scan through the body. Is there anywhere that feels tense? Can you soften a little more? Can you let go of some more tension? Just give yourself permission to fully relax here. There's no more work to be done. As you're ready to start to bring back some small movement, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe gently rocking the head from side to side. You can take your arms overhead, take a big stretch, and bending the knees, just gently roll to one side. Just take a few moments here. Press into the palms, come up to a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes closed, bring the hands together in front of the heart space. Just quietly thank yourself for showing up for your practice. And bowing the head towards the hands. Namaste. Gently batting the eyelids open. Well done. So as usual, I'd love for you to practice this at least once more. It's going to really help get the foundations of your practice to be really, really solid. So I'll see you soon for part 4.